Good morning. This is NC4XL Dom, the darling old man. Here lately, I really am getting excited about all our new members that are joining POTA. And this is coming from an activator standpoint. So, first of all, let me tell you, nobody's asking me to do this. This is me sticking my own nose in it and trying to help ahead of time some of the new hunters, that's the brand new hunters who don't really know what they've stumbled onto. And we appreciate you joining the ranks and the multitudes. And the new activators that may feel intimidated or overwhelmed by some of the things that are happening. This is primarily to address to the new hunters, not the old timers, because they're already set in their ways, or they're not going to change, or they don't really care, or they don't understand. But the combination is I'm out there as an activator, and I'm addressing this because I really think it needs to be addressed. So again, my call NC4XL, North Carolina for Extreme Lovers. If I upset you or offend you, I apologize. But as a hunter, some of the questions popping up are, why did they only run 4 or 5 contacts and they quit? Well, battery might have died. Ranger might have come up. Party showed up next to him in a car with an ignition system that's outrageous. Laptop went crash on him. There's various reasons that things happen out there to activators. So hunters, please, 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 we need you. But we really need you to understand that when we're outside of your element, your restrooms, your refrigerators, your laptops and computers and spotting pages and all those fine things that you're having at the house, whether it's on a patio, in your backyard, in your garage, under the stairs, wherever you have it at, you're comfortable. We don't have that convenience all the time. And as a hunter, you log it, okay? You don't send your login. That's just for your own information. If you follow the app page and you go to the left-hand side when you sign in and you go scroll down to the bottom, it says My Hunted Logs. Nothing gets added there till the activator actually posts their logs to their coordinator, and then the next day generally it shows up. But as a hunter, please understand, we have as activators different things that we're involved in. And unless you've been out with one of us or 2 of us or several of us at different places, you're really not going to understand. It's more than just making a contact with us, but you give us the reason to get out there. You give us a chance to get out in God's country and see the beautiful lakes and the forests and the game lands and the wildlife management areas. And some of these places are no bigger than your garage, it seems like. Some of these places are so full of noise that you're at a power plant. Some of these places are so deep down you're in a basement. But see, you don't see that as a hunter. As a hunter, you're seeing a spot page. I hope you're seeing a spot page. I hope you're following that. I hope that you would chase that as much as you chase us activators, because it keeps us all busy. Spinning the dial is the day we used to do it. Many of us still end up having, as activators, to spin the dial to find somebody who will take the time to spot. I'm not asking you to do what I do. I'm asking you to do what you want to do. When I work somebody from the house, I'm going to tell them one or two things. 73s, I'll spot you, or 73s. It all depends who it is. Because a lot of times people aren't wanting you to spot because they can't handle the pileups. As a hunter, you don't hear the pileups the way the activator does. You hear a lot of other people trying to make noise and you're trying to cover them up. Some of you are fortunate to have an amplifier. That's great. You'll get through eventually. Most activators don't have amplifiers. Many are running QRP. And there's many hunters that are running QRP. I'm quite impressed with them. I don't have the stamina to even pursue it. But I have a lot of respect for those that work me who are running QRP, that are only QRP, because we're all different. We all have different levels of achievements and so forth. So as a hunter, don't get mad when they're there for a few minutes and you can't get through because they're on a rove. They're going to go from this part to this part by so many kilometers to this part. They got so much time to deal with, so many miles to cover. They have cutoffs from the parks that close up. Those are things you don't see because you're comfortable at home. And while you're comfortable at home, we appreciate you. I know I speak for every activator out there. When we're struggling to even try to find 10 contacts, you think it's hard because you spin the dial and find 10 activators out there. Let's rephrase that. You spin the dial and see 10 are spotted, but you can't hear them. But somewhere across the country, certain sections are hearing them. So, enough on the hunter. You are appreciated. Try to understand that it's not what you think it is. Unless you've been an activator, then you would truly relate to what they're going through. Now let's talk about the activators so you understand some of their dilemmas. If you follow me on my YouTube page, NC4XL, you will see here lately I've started to show some videos of me going down certain roads to get to certain parks. And I do that purposely because I want people to know that, 5 miles to go back there was a major roadway. Now I'm out in sticks, literally out in the sticks. Some of the roads are old-fashioned gravel roads that aren't maintained. And a lot of our activators, they're gutsier than I am. They park their car in a car park area and hike in. That is an opportunity for them to find a sweet spot, or hopefully a sweet spot, to find it a place to put an antenna, whether it's a vertical, buddy stick, end fed. They got to find it. It's not set up for them. And when they get there, sometimes we get obstacles in the way. It's called a broken coax. Power connector snapped. Battery died. They got impatient, or they were nowhere around to get it charged, and they were hoping they had enough, and they cranked the power from 100 watts to 50 watts trying to stretch it. That's what they do. And some people will go from 50 watts down to 5 watts and hope that they can get out of the bowl or the hole that they're in, that you think, since they're there, why don't you hear them? Because they're fighting elements you have no control. They have no control. They're just trying to get out of it. Many times, especially in the summer, now I can't talk about the winter because most of the time it don't snow here in the Carolinas. Most. Now, I didn't say all the time. But in the summertime we have gnats, We have flies, yellow-winged flies that bite. We have skeeters. We have sand gnats. We have stickers in the grass, I call them, little burrs that you walk. If you don't watch out, they stick to the side of your pants and you cross your legs, and next thing you know, you got ahs and oohs. Those are things you don't see. Most of the time, as an activator, they don't have a bathroom near. If they take snacks and so forth, they may work until they gotta go. And they're QRT. And when they're QRT, they're gonna do it now. Don't get mad at them. They gotta take care of business. If you go to some of the areas where you can park in a parking lot because you can't get out to a field area, so they set up working off of the hamstick, or in my case, I try to find a tree and hang a wire and sit in the car, especially when it's cold. And somebody pulls next to you and they got an old set of spark plugs in an old beat up vehicle, and it sounds like a tank next to you. As an activator, yes, that happens. Yes, that happens, and it's very frustrating because you can't just get up and drive away, and you're only hoping and praying they'll get up and drive away. As an activator, we have the opportunity to meet the rangers. Sometimes abruptly, tap, tap, tap on the window, or they walk over. Now again, they're there doing their job that they're hired for. And sometimes they can't relate to parks on the air, or they can't relate to ECOM, meaning emergency setup of battery-powered radios and wires and things of that for emergency situations, i.e. hurricanes, tornadoes, or a catastrophe of some type where we are employed not financially but to perform radio communications. If you're listening to what I'm saying, we're there for more than just making contacts. That's the sweet part of it. Each and every one of you who have a radio or listening to me right now, and if time and circumstances dictated, you may end up doing just what I'm doing here, figuring out how to hook up to your battery in your car, because your radio will work AC/DC. That activator has all these elements that they're dealing with, okay? They appreciate you. Some of us activators, we look for numbers, what that means, and I'll share just me, myself, and I. I like to go out and get all I can while I can, because after I've done so many, I'm done. Some like to just work 10, 15. That's what they want to do. Well, don't be mad at them, hunters. That's their joy. That's their fun. Better yet, we would love for you to step out of the house and get out and go see what God's put in front of you. Go drive an hour and a half one way just to set up for another half hour or longer, depending on what type of antenna system and how many radios, if you use radios, and how many feet of coax, did I bring the right length? There's a lot of things that the hunters just are not aware of. But then there's an awful lot of hunters who are aware of it. And those are the people that you'll always hear that will tell you, I'll spot you, you got a great signal, thanks for what you're doing. Because they can understand, they can relate, and they have traveled to some of these places. On that note, on the East Coast, we're highly populated in amateur radio operators. On the West Coast, you're not as populated, but band conditions are different here on the East Coast than they are on the West Coast. You got 4 hours time difference, you got a gray line effect, so things are going to be different. The bands change. If you hear a pile up and you can barely hear the person, go spin the dial to the next one. Come back. The band will change more than likely, and you'll be able to work that activator. Again, I do not want to come across as being ugly, smart. I'm not. There's not much left up there on the head. The experiences I have, I've acquired from being out there, almost running out of gas, almost forgetting this, including pencil and paper, because I don't use a logging device. I spill coffee on my paper, I can let it dry. Spill coffee on my logging device, I might not have that opportunity. But you hunters, if you have paid attention through this whole video, I want you to know, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, when I go out there, I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to wait in line. I appreciate you turning the beam. I appreciate you turning the amplifier on. And I appreciate you spotting me, because that's what excites the old man, is making the contacts. I'm not a hit and get, and I don't stay in the car. And there's nothing wrong with hit and get, and there's nothing wrong with sitting in the car. We're all different. I like to get out on a picnic table if I can, or a tree stump, and I like to set up outside. But that's me. Every activator is totally different. No two are the same. None of us have the same fingerprints. We're all different. So expect your activators to be different. Just go with the flow, have fun, spot them. Check your awards every day to see if you got a new award. Check your hunter log every day to see who has processed their logs. And watch it grow. NC4XL, North Carolina for extreme lovers. Yep, the old man. The darling old man, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all have a blessed day.